I really want to thank everyone for participating in the Spotlight Attestations. This might be one of the most robust testing groups we've seen at a PlugFest in a very long time. We have over 15 test stations from around the world, from Asia, Europe, and the Americas. So we're very excited. One of the reasons why we're doing the Spotlight Attestations is that a lot of our IOO members are unable to travel and come to really see hands-on what's going on. And this will be a really good opportunity for state and local DOTs to see what tools are available and what's going on in the V2X world, especially for testing and certification, and the importance of it. So with that, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, which is Meadow from SAESOL Tech, and she will start our presentation. So if Meadow, you want to get ready, that will be fantastic.
Hello.
Hello. All right. Here you go, Meadow. It's all yours.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Meadow Cho, and I'm here on behalf of SAESOL Tech. And I would like to briefly introduce the IEEE 1609.2.1 test system, which we are demonstrating at this PlugFest and we will also have a testing with DEKRA. So our testing activities are based on the draft specification 764B and version 1.2. And within this framework, we focus on 4 basic compatibility test cases: initial provisioning and certificate revocation list handling, and RA control downloading for CRL, and RA control download for CCF. These cases are designed to ensure secure and reliable communication for connected vehicle environments. So let me explain how our test system is structured. At the center, we have the test station, which interacts with the device under test and via radio proxy using PC5 V2X communication. The system includes a SVDU verifier, a TCI handler and agent, and integration with SCMS. So we also support both custom APIs for testing and standard APIs defined by IEEE 1609.2.1. So this architecture enables us to validate real-world interoperability while providing flexible expansions for PlugFest participants. So actually, we're doing this whole test with TTA and DEKRA ever since last year. All right, so before testing begins, devices must be registered at the SCMS. So participants then select the device types like OBUs, RSUs, and configure the parameters such as like authentication method, and if applicable, response type, butterfly type. And finally, policies are set on the device, including a CMS URL with CTL series ID for the test CTL, and authentication method, and set device types. So this ensures a consistency and fairness across all participants during the PlugFest. So in conclusion, the IEEE 1609.2.1 test system is a vital tool for building trust in secure V2X communication, especially in the deployment level. And if you have if you're preparing, and if you have any question for this, and if you would like to prepare the test with us, please let us know and feel free to contact us. And thank you very much for your attention, and we will look forward to a successful demonstration throughout this PlugFest.
Thank you, Meadow.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Next, we have James from Chunghwa Telecom. He's one of our members from Taiwan and helped us put together a very successful PlugFest, the Taipei PlugFest, a couple years ago. And we very much look forward to his participation and having all of us come back to the beautiful country of Taiwan, maybe in the next year or two. So we'll stay tuned for that. So here we go, James. It's all you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning and good evening. I am James from Chunghwa Telecom. And Chunghwa Telecom is the largest telecom company in Taiwan. and also provide various PKI-related products. And CAT can provide 1609.2.1 online testing environment and the certificate bundle. And our contact email is also on the slide. If you have any interest on testing, you can send maybe canonical key to this contact email or further more information. Okay, next slide. And as shown on the slide, CAT supports all 09.2.1 features, including the listed functions and options. Besides that, CAT also supports certificate extension, operating org ID, which was introduced in 609.2 2022. And we can also provide the case. In that case, RA and the CS certificate can be changed or revoked. And that's all. That's all my slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. I very much appreciate it. So, all right, up next, we're going to have BK from TTA, the Telecommunications Technology Association. Is also another OmniAir certified test laboratory. It's part of a OmniAir certification program. So we have lots of options for everyone out there to do their testing services. So BK, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. I'm PK from TTA, Telecommunications Technology Association, and TTA is located in South Korea. TTA has been actively serving as an OmniAir authorized testing lab since 2019. Today, I will be presenting the test system and the testing scope that TTA test station will provide at this OmniAir Michigan Progress, as well as the necessary preparation items for device vendors. We plan to use our newly developed the VTEX protocol stack test system for this Progress. The testing scope is supported by our test system, which includes IEEE 1609.2 security stack, TASUI network stack, and SAJ 2945/1 lab test, and NDCIP 1218 SNFP test. Next slide, please. So vendor preparations are like this. Vendors should prepare the VTEX antenna, GNS antenna, and power and Ethernet interface to communicate with test system. And for the duty configuration, for the OPU, you need to prepare Shutonium certificates, and for RCU application certificates. And most of the protocol tests that we use a TCI version 3, and to check the connectivity, there should be some kind of the TXRS application to check with our proxy test system. After Genesis 3D fix and shift external enable checking, we are going to check with the proxy and then test with the TCI or SNMP protocol. If you need those kind of the Shutonium application certificate or XML and UPR, those kind of the RH configuration, please contact me at pk at tta.org.kr. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, BK. That was very helpful. As you can see, security is is a very important component of PlugFest and our testing. Some of those things that we talk about. But up next, we'll have a little bit more from Sean Cho from AUTOCRYPT. He will be next.
Yep.
And all right, perfect. Let me pull you up.
Okay, thank you. I'm Sean from AUTOCRYPT. Like brief introduction, AUTOCRYPT delivers the comprehensive the cybersecurity service covering embedded cybersecurity requirements, backend, and compliance with the key standards, including 21434 ISO, the Cybersecurity Resilience Act, supporting OEM, Tier 1 suppliers, and government. This time we participate SMS providers in the event. Today I will cover, Ryan, next slide, please. The preparation the device vendors need to complete in advance, along with the test support item required to run tests and our test station. And the second, an overview of the sequence and the steps involved in our test station process. Then the last, I will share the types of results device vendors can review after completing the test, including the interoperability. So on this page, item number 1 and 2 describe the preparation phase, while step 3 onwards covers the process of the registering devices with the SMS. So on this page, to register a device, you first need to sign up through the SMS URL provided here. And registration is only finalized once it's approved by the administrator. So this procedure must be completed in advance to make everything move fast. As part of this process, it is also necessary to register the canonical ID and as well as the key. So after during the initial configuration phase, it's possible to set up the UR for API calls, configure policies, and pre-download it, the necessary certificates. From the step 3 onward, the registration phase begins once the preparations are completed. A signed request can be generated, and the other enrollment certificates will be issued. And using this enrollment certificate, the device can request the necessary authorization certificate. So after download, the device proceed with the certificate validation process. And the next page, please, right? So the second page, it is the list of the case supported for device vendor at AUTOCRYPT test station. For end entity specific service level, we have test cases such as enrollment and authorization certificate request, certificate download, and successor enrollment certificate. And each of these is linked to a specific interface in FEF. And the output confirmed receipt of the corresponding certificate or acknowledgement. And for the security management information download service, the test cases cover the CCF and CTL download, CRL and CA certificate download, RA certificate, etc. And here the expected output of files such as certificate chains, CRL, CTL, and RA certificates. And overall, these test cases validate the system can properly request, download, and acknowledge different types of certificates and security information through the defined interfaces. For each steps, as provided in the checklist and output, we could create a checklist to confirm the required item for each validated items. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, very much. Next, we have Mika from straight from Germany. So we have a great presentation from Vector about their test tool.
Yes, hi everybody, my name is Maike. I'm a software developer at Vector, and I want to give you a bit of an overview about our company and our V2X test tool that we will bring to the PlugFest next week. So Vector is a German company, as was already said. We have around 4,500 employees. Most of those are in Germany, but we also have offices all over the world. Our North America office is actually very close to Detroit. We have been working for over 35 years with also customers and companies worldwide. Vector has a very large variety of application areas. To name a few, we work in embedded software and diagnostics and in testing, and in a large range with automotive bus systems. So maybe you've heard of CAN or Ethernet or LIN. In V2X, we've had a V2X test tool called Canu Car2X for almost 15 years now, since 2012. And in V2X, we've been working worldwide with customers and projects, both in automotive industry and infrastructure. So anything from car manufacturer or manufacturers, and cities wanting to deploy and test their V2X solutions. So our V2X test tool is called K2X. It's a solution for simulation or testing of V2X application. And we cover 3 main areas: V2X simulation, analysis, and testing. In V2X simulation, with our tool, you're able to simulate, for example, vehicles sending out V2X messages to be able to test your device, or test if your infrastructure application reacts correctly to V2X messages. For analysis, we have a very customizable UI to be able to visually check the V2X communication, the messages, and the content of the messages to check that everything is sent out the way that you are expecting it. And since visually checking is not enough, we also have testing. So you can carry out very extensive tests with the application, create test reports, detailed test reports to check on the tests that were happening. And for OmniAir, one of the things that we will bring is the simulation and testing. So we will be able to simulate some different scenarios for device manufacturers to check if their application reacts correctly to the different scenarios. If you can click one slide more. Yeah. So,
Sorry.
Yeah. So in summary, we have a large variety of simulation testing of V2X communication systems. And in the slide, there is a link if you want to know more, or feel free to contact me directly.
Thank you, Micah. And one of the things for anyone who is participating at the PlugFest, Vector is giving a very deep technical dive into their simulation tools and the canoe. So that's if you're interested in that, please attend. That will be on our first day of testing. And especially for all of those who are out testing, or especially our device manufacturers who are already there with their OBUs and OBUs, just to have everything set up and ready to go to take full advantage of the vector testing system in the bench and in the field. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Yep, you're very welcome. Up next, we have Peter. See, this is where OmniAir is truly global. So we have Peter from Microsec, and they're based in Hungary. As you can see, we have a lot of participation, not just from North America, but also globally. So Peter, it's all you.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to give a quick overview of Microsec and our achievements and the test, what we can test. So Microsec is providing security services since 1984. We are qualified trust service providers, and we are dealing with PKI for over 25 years. Now we have a US headquarters in New York, Long Island as well. We are offering a full range of PKI solutions from product services, training, and consultancy. We are operating large-scale production V2X PKI deployments, especially in Europe, in Germany, in the Autobahn, Asfinag, in Austria, Hungarian public roads, and some others. And we have all customers in all over the world. We had active participation in creating the STMS certificate policy with the stakeholder organizations, especially 5GA in the US. It has been published now, the new STMS certificate policy. Microsec is audited every year by third parties. We have ISO 9001, 27001, and we have as a trust service provider, we have ADAS trust service verifications, and we successfully passed the Web Trust certification in June this year. And our SCMS solution services are hosted in US-based servers. Thank you. Next one. Yeah. So what we can test now on this PlugFest, we are supporting both IEEE 1609.2.1 and CAMP under a single hierarchy, so it's easier to switch between the two. 1609.2.1 enrollment and authorization support, of course. We also support successor enrollments. We support all 3 different type of butterfly keys, namely the original unified and complex unified. we are supporting it for both implicit and explicit certificates. We usually test it for implicit, but we also support the explicit certificates. We support CTS, CCF, composites, CRLs, individual CRL support. We also support organic OPORG IDs. So if you want to test that, we can also support that. Now we have a new service, the G2735 message signer, which is usually used for signing team messages, for example. So if you have a virtual virtual RSU that cannot sign messages because it doesn't have an HSM, for example, or you have an RSU that is not capable for signing messages, we have a message signer service. So from the central, you can send this message, we sign it, and we send it back signed in a secure channel. We are providing an easy-to-use web interface, and we have very flexible deployment options and competitive business model. And we can also offer a sandbox environment that is available for testing and integration.
Oops. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Next, we have Integrity Security Services with Brian Romansky.
Thanks, Ryan. So shifting hats to my ISS role. So I think most of you are familiar with ISS. We've been involved in the Plugfest since the very first one and continue to support them. Go to the next slide. I'll just highlight a couple of features that we will have available for testing and interoperability evaluation. As a few of my other SCMS provider colleagues have mentioned, Operator Org ID or OpOrg ID. This is a feature in the IEEE 1609.2 2020 release and the upcoming new release. We believe that this is an important feature for the future of signal priority and preemption, one of the most common early applications that deployers will implement. And the current solutions work really well. They're very secure, they're very reliable, but they don't necessarily provide the type of multi-vendor interoperability that deployers expect from a V2X solution. So things like bringing in emergency vehicles from other states, other regions, and giving them permissions for a period of time, or having selective priority or hierarchy of priorities for vehicles in your region. These are things that are enabled by OpOrg ID. At this Plugfest, we're not expecting vendors to show up ready to use this in a fully functional way, but we do want to check that they don't break anything. So ISS, along with other SCMS vendors, will be populating certificates with the OpOrg ID, checking that devices can load them, can validate certificates signed with other certs that have the OpOrg ID validated. That doesn't break anything. It shouldn't. It's part of the standard, but you never know until you test and try. So that's one of the features we'll be testing. And of course, we'll also be there to answer questions about future uses, how devices will receive OpOrg ID certs, how regions will register to obtain durable and long-lasting OpOrg IDs. And so we'll be there to help any questions that you might have. Next slide, please. Of course, interoperability continues to be a major feature. Collaborating with SCMS Manager, ISS will continue to support interoperability testing and evaluation. Like other vendors, we will be supporting .2.1 in addition to the CAMP interface that we've had for years. So this is not anything new, but if there's vendors that want to test enrollment and interoperability, we'll be there to check that out. We'll, of course, be hosting the multi-vendor certificate trust list and the certificate chain file that SCMS Manager created for these events so that we can test interoperability with all of the participating SCMS providers. I think there's one more slide.
Yep.
Okay, and new this year at the ITS World Congress, ISS introduced our Traffic Auth mobile application, which actually extends IEEE 1609.2 security beyond just the safety spectrum, the 5.9 gigahertz CV2X or PC5 broadcast spectrum, but also over the network. Now, even if you have a device that has no network connectivity, no cellular connectivity, you can participate in this field testing. We will have some intersections set up that are doing relays between the broadcast band and our network server. So we will show end-to-end interoperability of signed messages going from over-the-air broadcast messages to an app and back. And it's not just us. We'll be partnering. I think Leidos might mention this, but Leidos and the Stoll Lab, their app will also be integrated with our same capability to sign and validate messages. And so we'll show multi-vendor, multi-app interoperability across multiple networks for the first time. So looking forward to demonstrating that and seeing lots of equipment in the field, testing this out and showing this interoperability. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. And to add on that, Brian's team from ISS are also going to do a technical deep dive on security for tolling devices. So that's a very up and coming subject at OmniAir. People are very excited about being able to, how do you monetize some of the V2X, and V2X tolling might be a very simple way, and maybe another good entry point into getting more devices in vehicles. So look forward to that conversation. Up next, we have our good friend Ted Sadler from Integral Blue. Very excited to share with his tool that he utilizes at PlugFest to help IOOs set up their deployments. Ted, if you're ready.
Be helpful if you can hear me. You can jump right to the next slide if you want. Thanks, Ryan. So yeah, Integral Blue, we are a little bit different, I think, from most of the test station participants at PlugFest. We're actually a consultant contractor firm that builds ITS networks, including ones for V2X. We primarily operate in Michigan, but I've done a little bit of work outside and focus really on helping agencies and other infrastructure owners deploy technology that solves real problems on the roadways, and that certainly includes direct V2X, and I'm excited to see how that technology is continuing to evolve, including in the ways that Brian just shared with the network component. So we have a whole team of project managers and engineers and field staff that design and build these kinds of systems out in the field. And we're excited to bring some of those types of services and our insights to PlugFest. Next slide, please. So specifically, I'm going to be demonstrating and utilizing a setup that I've built to really help myself bench test, pre-configure, and validate V2X devices before they go out to the field and get installed on poles. We've been doing this for several years now. We've really been doing major V2X deployments since about 2018, but even had experience before that and have a lot of insight to share with vendors and manufacturers about what infrastructure owners might be looking for when they're in the process of procuring devices. And then when they turn around and hand those devices to engineers or field staff who then have to make them work by installing them, configuring them, integrating them with any existing systems that the agency might have, we want to show the kinds of considerations that those teams might have when they're maybe making recommendations about devices, or the processes that they have to go through once they unbox a device. Sometimes the expectations can be different between professionals that have to understand how a whole spectrum of vendor products work versus the engineers that actually designed those products at the vendor. Next slide, please. So yeah, I kind of flipped my narration there a bit, but we have a number of devices in this setup, slightly an older picture, multiple RSUs now on this rack and multiple controllers, edge processor, different pieces of network equipment. So we're really prepared to test a variety of different integration methods, to do an assessment of RSUs in particular as they come across our bench. We have a form that was developed during a PlugFest last year to really assess the hardware platform itself, the different components of the RSU, its management interfaces, including security considerations, the accessibility and methodology necessary to configure it, and then a brief integration test using one or more of those methods to configure commonly used applications like MAP and SPAT, and forwarding of messages like BSMs to another endpoint. I'm excited to try out some new NTCIP 1218 OIDs and interfaces for this next generation of devices at this year's PlugFest. But we're especially excited to share our insights and feedback with the vendors and help them make their products even better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ted. It's much appreciated. Up next, we have DEKRA, so another one of our OmniAir authorized test laboratories for V2X, and also in tolling. They have a facility in Sterling, Virginia. We'll have Fernando Rodriguez presenting.
Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so great. So let me introduce DEKRA for those of you that are not familiar with us. So we are the largest automotive test inspection and certification company in the world. So we're in about 60 countries, and we are the only test laboratory that is accredited and authorized for all OmniAir test plans. That includes RFID tolling here in North America, as Ryan just mentioned, as well as V2X with our lab in Malaga, that many of you that have been to previous PlugFest is familiar with. With regards to OmniAir V2X test coverage, we are authorized and we cover both DSRC as well as LTE V2X. We're also authorized for field application as well as for security testing. So if you go to the next slide. If we go more specifically about the test capabilities that we have, in our lab we have the Keysight system that you will hear more details here also, where we cover the test plans that are outlined here. This we use for RF and protocol testing. So we cover the 759 and 761 test plans, 763, 765, 767, and 780. So we did work also with Keysight. We do validate test systems as well, and then we use them for verification and later on for the certification testing. So we're offering pre-testing services before we start with the official OmniAir program, and later on also we offer the actual OmniAir certification program with this test system. In addition, we have also the Spartan TT Suites Wave LTV, which we use for protocol testing, where we cover this 765 and 767. We worked also on the validation of this test system together with Spartan, and now we use it also for the actual OmniAir certification program. And so, hold on, just before that, we also have a proprietary test setup for SNMP for security and messaging. This was put together by us, by DEKRA, with our own also protocols, with our own software development as well, where we cover the 770 and 785. And I'd like to also mention that we are also recognized for security testing. We have a cybersecurity team that covers this IEEE 1609. And we work with SAESOL, the system, which is also under validation at this moment. And in addition to that, we also cover, we are also able to do testing in the field. We have other services beyond OmniAir related to V2X. For example, we are a GCF certification lab, Global Certification Forum, which is a cellular, is the, let's say, the LTE part of the LTE technology is covered by another forum called Global Certification Forum, which has also some suites regarding V2X. So we're able to cover both, and we're able to support the technologies and the requirements worldwide. We cover also the regulatory aspects like FCC or CE, the RED directive. So we're able to help with everything which is needed to bring a V2X RSU, an OBU, or any component to bring them to market. We even have a team that is able to provide type approval services and global certification for services if you need to export that product, let's say, to 200 countries or whatever. So we manage all the paperwork with all the country agencies. We have agreements with laboratories worldwide where we can cover all those requirements. Okay, and last but not least, I would like to use this chance to invite everyone to an innovation day that is going to happen at our new laboratory in Michigan, the week of PlugFest. It will be on the week on Friday of the PlugFest. So our new lab is an automotive test lab that is located in Plymouth. It's about 15 minutes from Ypsilanti, where we will have the PlugFest. So we would like to invite everyone. We're going to have really great speeches where we'll talk about things like we're going to talk about cybersecurity for automotive. We're going to talk about digital car keys. We're going to have also Jason talking about OmniAir. We'll have also the Wi-Fi Alliance that's going to bring also their audience that will be talking also about the Wi-Fi certification program. And we will be having a lab tour. There will be free lunch for everyone. So please do not hesitate and register today so we can count on how many of you would like to come and see our new laboratory where we offer environmental, cybersecurity, functional safety, and we're setting RF EMC with high voltage specifically for EVs and for automotive. We'll have also our V2X test station there with my colleague Mario from Spain that will be there on site showing off the testing that we do for V2X. And we will show also some of the tools that we have developed here in our connectivity team for ADAS data collection, digital car keys, and other services. So
Thank you.
Please go ahead and
thank you
thank
very
you
much.
all.
All right, thank you very much, Fernando. Everyone's very much looking forward to coming in, especially the digital key. That seems like a very fascinating subject, and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about it. Next, we have Aaron Newman from Keysight. Keysight is an integral part of OmniAir's PlugFest. Without them, it's really hard to do a lot of the testing that our laboratories utilize our test systems. And they're always gracious in bringing a couple extra to share with our laboratories during the week. So, Aaron Newman, if you're ready.
Yes, thank you, Ryan and OmniAir and everyone for joining. Please, next slide. First, thank you, Fernando, for talking a little bit about our Keysight solution, both originally through GCF and 3GPP, and working with Qualcomm Public Information. We did open certification on the physical layers up through the PDCP, which gets us to the ITS stack, which we have been banging against all of the devices out there to PlugFests for many years. It is a stack that has been certified by OmniAir, and we test all the way up through the message layers, and of course the security 1609.2.1. Next slide, please. One of the neat things is that we use that stack in all of these different things here. And starting at the top left, we have something called a Wayby2Go, which looks like a roadside unit, but what we do is create scenarios of various actors, stations that can transmit their messages as they go about their scenario. And those then are just broadcast. We've tested this thing out to 1.2 kilometers, but we typically say more than 500 meters. So it's good for proving ground kind of work. Uses the same stack as what is certified by OmniAir. On the bottom is a handheld device for visualizing all of the message activity that's happening. It's nice for looking at both RSU and OBU activity, and it logs those messages and allows you to go into deeper to see what those messages are saying. On the right-hand side is a development platform for essentially putting into a vehicle and as information comes in through messaging, then you can take those into an application layer. There's an open API to allow you to test your algorithms for all of that information that comes over those messages. And then on the top right is really, top center is a combination of this touch on the bottom and the to-go on the left. So it looks like a roadside unit, and it's meant to broadcast scenarios, but also record all of the message traffic that's coming in. Gives you a good overall picture. Next slide, or down arrow, please. Yep. So here's just a visual of what the Waveby Touch sees. It's that handheld unit, and then down again, you can see these actors. And in this case, here now we have more information in those basic safety messages, and in the part 2 part of the message down below. If we zoom in down again, please, we can see that in this case, that front vehicle has hard braking applied. So, and down one more time, please. And here is just a way to open up and see all of the information inside the messages. And you can see that in this case, one of the values in that message is an illegal value, which we can highlight. So that's it, Ryan.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron. It's much appreciated. On a note about the Waveby Touch, I've had the pleasure of utilizing the Waveby Touch with Randy. It's easy enough to use that a marketing guy, as Randy would say, can actually utilize it and provide information that's needed when we're driving in the cars. So it's a very cool tool. It's very easy to use. So even if you're a non-engineer utilizing it, it's fantastic. Next up, we have who's next? Okay, we have Marben. So we have
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Who is it? Okay, perfect.
It's Nishal. My name is Nishal Naik from Marben. So a little bit about Marben. We're a software provider, and we offer a complete V2X software solution to enable OBUs and RSUs. Our software is global, and we offer the stack security and off-the-shelf applications. We're ASPICE compliant, and we're trusted by several tier 1s and OEMs worldwide who are using Marben for mass deployments. So we've been longtime OmniAir members and have been coming to OmniAir Plugfest for a long time. And one of the challenges we found, along with members of OmniAir, is how to black box test applications at the bench. So we worked with the OmniAir team as well as other stakeholders to create, help develop the UCAM messaging. So the UCAM messaging allows us to use our Vahan SEM simulation tool to use TCI to inject GPS path and different attributes to both one OBU as well as the device under test, which would be the device you would be bringing to test. We will pass our scenario through our Vahan SIM simulation tool, which will then be expected to receive this UCAM alert back to the system. So if everything goes well, we'll be able to test EBL, FCW, and all the various V2V and V2I applications. For this Plugfest in particular, we'll also be bringing the new J3217 V2X tolling application. Next slide, Jason. So as you can see here, this is just kind of an example of one of our scenarios running. You have two different cars. One would be our test OBU, and the other one would be the device under test, so the OBU vendors. Here we push the two different scenario paths to the car, and if the FCW is triggered, we would receive an alert back to our test system saying that we've received this UCAM alert. I know the UCAM messaging hasn't been adopted by a lot of the OBU vendors, so this is something that I'd highly encourage OBU vendors to kind of develop. There is a GitHub that is part of OmniAir's TCI interface, and I can add a link to the chat for the UCAM messaging.
Oops, thank you very much, Nishil. All right. Thank you, Nishil. So up next we have Leidos and then Noblis. For Leidos, I'm not sure if it's May or if it was an alternate.
Hey, Ryan, this is Andy. Can you hear me?
Okay, Andy, perfect. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, well, Thanks for having us. So my name is Andy Gaines. I'm a engineer with Leidos, and we support the Saxton Lab at the Turner Fairbanks Highway Research Center. My camera doesn't seem to be working, so I apologize for that. You can go to the next slide, Ryan. So at PlugFest, we'll be supporting with a variety of test events. We'll have a cave in a box, and we'll talk about what that is on the next slide, but we'll have that set up at an intersection, and there we'll have it sending out some map, SPAT, TIM, SDSM data that you can use to verify you are J2735 2020 or 2024 compliant. I believe 2020 is mandatory and 2024 is desired for this event. At the bench testing, we'll have a similar setup. It'll also be a cave in a box, and it'll have some some similar messages that we could test with if you want some bench preparation for that cave in a box at the intersection. And this time around, we will also be supporting the Wayties testing as well. So we will be working with OmniAir and Noblis to conduct that testing. So that'll include the BSM accuracy, the security and privacy, low speed latching, and so on. And yeah, I guess that's about it for our test events. If you want to go to the next slide, we can talk about some of our test tools. So I mentioned we'll be bringing a cave in a box, similar to what Integral Blue has. That's really everything you need for a smart connected infrastructure. So we could start with some testing on that. We'll also have our V2X hub, which is the FHWA open source encoder and decoder, which is J2735 2024 compliant as well. We also have some other tools such as the map tool or TIM tool. Hopefully you all have been able to see, but our newer release of the map tool is fully J2945 compliant for RGA, message creation, and also conversion to and from the 2735 map message. And then we'll also have a release for the TIM tool next year to support the later standards for that. And with that, that's all I really have. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. It's very much appreciated. Next up, we have Spain from Noblis, followed by Acura and Wayties.
Thanks, Ryan. So Noblis will be at PlugFest supporting the US DOT, specifically the ITS Joint Program Office. So about a year ago in October, the US DOT held their first interoperability testing event in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where I met a bunch of people on the call here. Some representatives from OmniAir were out there as well. And out there, we tested the traveler information message to see how different organizations, state DOTs, and different vendors and IROs all work together. And then from that, we created the TIM best practice guide, which is basically just some guidance on how best to deploy traveler information messages so that everyone can get on the same page and be setting up the TIMs in the same way. And that way, if you go from one state to the other, they'll all act in the same manner. So that worked out with that testing environment really well. From that, we wanted to just continue the testing at PlugFest. So that's what we'll be doing at PlugFest. We'll be testing some traveler information messages to further inform the TIM best practice guide, and then to also expand some of the testing that we weren't able to do last year in Wyoming, such as the curve speed warning. Next slide. So when we're out at PlugFest, we will be testing 5 different TIMs. There will be 2 weather TIMs. One will be the circle geofence and a polygon geofence. Those will be overlapping, so we're just going to test how different priorities work there and what happens when someone drives through overlapping TIM regions with like the different region setups. We're going to have 1 incident warning TIM. And for this one, we want to test how some of the different parameters work using like further info ID versus roadside ID. We got 1 work zone TIM. With that one, there's going to be 4 different data frames within the TIM for different like advisories with 2 different priority levels. And then 1 curve speed warning that we were not able to test out in Wyoming. We want to see how OBUs and people handle those. And again, this is all like just working on the different parameters and just trying to see what happens and get more information in the field. And then we're going to be testing on Wednesday. We're going to do full day testing, just kind of throughout the day as participants can get out there. So from like 9 to noon, we're going to set out one version of the TIMS, and then from 12 to 3, send out a whole new version, and then from 3 to 5, version 3. So in practice, or ideally, we'll have everyone that would like to participate, that is able to participate, drive this route once during each of those 3 time intervals, the different versions of the TIMS that we'll be sending out. And we'll also be trying to collect some data. So we'll be collecting results in person, and then hopefully collecting some log files as well. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you very much, Ben. We look forward to seeing you and your team in a couple of weeks, or I guess in 1 week. It's coming up quick. All right, so next up we have Gerald from Accuver to talk about the Wayties test system. Gerald.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. So I will introduce here these 4 products from the V2X product line from Wayties. Wayties is a V2X test solutions and other automotive technologies, and it is based out of Seoul, Korea. Accuver is actually the global brand that's been around for quite a few years now for in 5G and LTE network testing and optimizations. And both companies are owned by the R&D research and development company called InnoWireless, which is part of the LIG holding and based out of Korea as well. Next slide, please. The first product is the DRTS, which is Dry Test Solutions. It features testing of BSM messages sent by the OBU, and it is used for conformance or compliance with the SAE standards like the J2945. And it is actually one of the tools used for the OmniAir selected V2X test case 768, which has includes 6 DRT test scenarios, like specifically for data accuracy. The hardware is pretty it's kind of self-explanatory. It has 2 V2X antennas and 2 GNSS antennas, and then you have the DRTS itself, and it's installed in the vehicle next to the OBU, basically. Next slide, please. The next one is a CGTS, which is V2X traffic simulator. It generates V2X messages. It can do up to 200 BSM messages. So there are 5 V2X modems, and each modem can handle anywhere between, I believe it's 2 to 4. I think it's 2 OBUs, but it can be configured up to 4 depending on the type of scenario that you use. Next slide, please. Here we have the ABTS. It is an application bench test system. It is used to do virtual testing in the lab, and it actually it is hardware in the loop. So it uses vector Cano plus the Wayties ABTS framework together. And it is for the simulating V2X applications. And then after these V2X applications are simulated make sure that they are properly supporting the scenarios for that particular customer, it can be verified on the field just to compare and to get some sense of reliability and calibration purposes. Next slide, please. And here we have RPTS, which is an RSU performance test system. It is built-in. It has built-in 4-channel V2X receivers plus GNSS, and it supports multiple RSU. It is used to perform basic testing to make sure that the packets are reaching, enough packets are complying with the ITS specifications or of the ITS requirements of the government or of the DOT perhaps. And it can be used for looking at shadow areas where there is a lack of coverage, I would say, from an RF point of view. I believe is that it? Maybe the next slide. I think that might be it.
Thank you, Gerald.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Last but not least will be Randy Roebuck. He's also going to go over NIST slides, as Eugene was unable to attend this webinar this morning. Randy, are you available?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate NIST for participating, but they can't travel, but they will be remote operating the test station in conjunction with Shaquille and I. And I'm going to go through this very quickly. Basically, they'll bring in an enhanced version. What you saw, SunTrax. We want all the devices to go through it. When we do a drive test, we'll give your PCAP to them. Before you get to this test station, they'll analyze it. They'll put your device on here and do a bench analysis for interoperability, which is one of our major themes. Also, we kind of want to do, every time we got a set of devices going to the security certificate providers, we want you all to go over to this test station where NIST can actually test your SEM interoperability, that they're getting the message correct, and they can say, well, you did this particular cert from this provider and back and forth, and we will push interoperability. That's the way I will arrange the schedule on Monday and Tuesday to go do this. And this kind of shows the examples of the output that comes through in order to move device interoperability on farther. Next slide. The one thing I wanted to point out, we're going to have separate test bays, one for wired test systems, one for wireless. So we'll have things set up. Go back to your other slide. So we'll have that, and I'll only have the GPS repeater in the wireless room this particular time. It's mentioned that we do want people to run 2024 slides. Ryan, there keeps switching.
It's just doing it. I don't know. It's a flaw. Just not doing it. Sorry, Randy.
So we want that. Also for application testing from GUIs, we want to make sure you bring your tablet with your app on there so you can take full advantage of the vector test system. We will run the radio config with the 2022, which is the without the SSL. You can go to the bench and do either on the Keysight system in that perspective, and possibly couple the other test system as a wired test. I can switch over a test tool to capture you over the air because we really do want to move to the 2020 version after this Plug Fest. Ryan, I don't have my other slides up, so I think I covered that slide. Then we did have a slide on the test certs. Make sure that you have conical keys off of your device so you can easily hook up to each SEMS provider, which is running 1609.2.1 in that perspective. I do have some more enhancements to my test box and that stuff. We do have the iTerrace test tablet. They have upgraded their software from World Congress. It does show SDSM messages and a few other things since World Congress. the capture test tools there to be in running. Aaron at Keysight already mentioned about the Waybeat tablet. And then we'll have the Wayties sniffer there too. Next slide. Ryan, I don't think we can go back, but the first slide in my deck is the Wayties performance test tool. It will be run by the Noblis Leidos team there, since Wayties staff could not be available, so we do have that there and run it. And you do have RTK sitting right next to the track, so you could do both versions. Yeah, we're at the slide right here. So it'll be the typical testing going around the track and the routes and that stuff. I do have the Wayties drive test marked out going through the tech, where we actually have a tunnel now, and we'll do some testing there. We'll do the hard braking on the track. We'll do the path prediction. We'll have the urban canyon and go through some lights and that stuff. I was actually at ACM yesterday and did some test capturing in that perspective. And this next slide. Then the outside route to get the 3 to 4 certificate changes. A very easy drive to go around, takes about 25 to 30 minutes to go do it, and move on from there. Next slide. Ryan, I had an updated slide in your deck, but this shows the route. If you want to go to Ann Arbor, they got a list of the latest and greatest certificates out there. Under the Mac Android, I was able to capture everything off the instructions and push through the USDOT STOL application, which Brian Romansky mentioned has been enhanced. The new version just came out this morning on the Android 67 version. I did put a capture field into the slide this morning there, and this actually shows these. So if you get an opportunity, drive over to Ann Arbor. I can lead a pack over there on Thursday morning or afternoon to take the captures, and so you get that experience also. I believe that's the last slide. Thank you very much. Look